Heartbreak is one of the most difficult and transformative experiences a person can face. It is a feeling so intense and personal that it can shake the very core of our being. When someone we love deeply leaves or the connection we cherished fades away, it often feels like our entire world collapses around us. The pain feels unbearable and endless. Our mind races with endless questions and doubts. Why did this happen to me? Was I not enough? Could I have done something differently? These thoughts repeat, making it hard to find peace or clarity. Yet heartbreak is not just about loss. It is about learning about ourselves and life in a way that nothing else can prepare us for. It is a harsh but honest teacher that forces us to confront our vulnerabilities and fears. The ancient philosophers understood this deeply. For example, the Stoics taught that the suffering we feel is not caused by external events themselves, but by the way we judge and interpret those events. When love ends, our minds often create stories of rejection, failure, and unworthiness, but these are not absolute truths. They are interpretations formed from our past wounds, fears, and insecurities. Learning to step back and observe our own thoughts as if from a distance can be a powerful tool. It allows us to see that much of the suffering we endure is amplified by the stories we tell ourselves. If we practice this observation with patience and kindness, we can begin to loosen the grip of those painful narratives and start to experience heartbreak more clearly as what it is: raw emotional pain and loss without the extra layers of judgment and blame. This awareness does not erase the pain or magically heal the wounds, but it changes our relationship with the pain. When we stop fighting or denying our feelings and instead allow ourselves to fully experience them, something profound begins to happen. The heartache becomes less of a burden and more of a passage. It becomes a river we must cross rather than a trap that confines us. Philosophy invites us to embrace the full depth of our emotions, including the sadness, loneliness, and confusion that come with heartbreak. Instead of trying to avoid or suppress these feelings, we are encouraged to sit with them and understand what they reveal about us, about our desires, our fears, and our capacity to love deeply. This process of deep listening to ourselves is not easy. It can be frightening and exhausting, but it is also the path to true healing and growth. In this space of honest feeling, we discover that heartbreak is not a sign of weakness but of courage, the courage it takes to open one's heart to another, to risk vulnerability and trust. Despite the pain, the fact that we dared to love fully is a testament to our humanity and strength. The heart that breaks is a heart that has lived and loved with passion and authenticity. The journey through heartbreak often feels lonely, but it is also a journey back to ourselves. When we lose someone we cared for, it can feel like a piece of us is missing. Yet philosophy teaches that the self is not fixed or dependent on others. It is fluid, resilient, and capable of renewal. Even when we feel shattered, the potential for healing and transformation remains within us like a hidden flame waiting to be kindled. Many philosophical traditions speak of the importance of acceptance and surrender in times of suffering. The idea is not to resign ourselves to pain, but to acknowledge reality without resistance. This acceptance is a powerful form of freedom. It frees us from the endless struggle against what is and allows us to move forward with greater clarity and peace. It is like a traveler who stops fighting against the storm and instead learns to navigate through it with wisdom and grace. In the depths of heartbreak, we can also find unexpected gifts. The experience teaches empathy, as we become more sensitive to the pain of others. It teaches humility, as we realize that suffering is a shared human condition. It teaches patience, as we learn to trust in the slow unfolding of healing rather than demanding quick fixes. This time of emotional upheaval can also be an invitation to reconnect with our deeper values and purpose. When the old relationship ends, it creates space for us to reflect on what we truly want from life and love. It helps us to let go of illusions and face the truth about ourselves and our desires. This clarity can lead to greater authenticity in how we live and relate to others. While heartbreak feels like an ending, it is also a beginning. It marks the start of a new chapter where we have the opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. The heart that once felt broken can rebuild itself into something more whole, not by forgetting the past, but by integrating the lessons learned into the fabric of our being. This integration is a slow and delicate process. It requires kindness toward ourselves and the willingness to face difficult emotions without judgment. As we move through this process, the sharp edges of pain soften, and the memories transform from wounds into sources of strength and insight. At its core, heartbreak teaches us about the impermanence of life and the preciousness of love. It reminds us that to love is to risk loss, but also to experience the richness of connection and meaning. It calls us to live fully even when the outcome is uncertain and to trust that the heart has an extraordinary capacity to heal and love again. You may feel lost or broken now, but know that this too shall pass. The pain will not last forever. The heart is resilient, and with time and care, it will open again to new joys, new relationships, and new hopes. Your story of heartbreak is not just a tale of suffering. It is a story of courage, endurance, and transformation. Sharing this story can bring comfort to others who feel alone in their pain. It can create a community where people find hope and healing through connection and understanding. This is why your journey matters. Why your channel can be a light for those navigating the darkness of heartbreak. Your words can be a balm for weary souls, reminding them that they are not alone, that their pain is real, but also that healing is possible. Heartbreak is the great paradox of life, a moment when loss and growth meet. When we face it fully with honesty and compassion, we do not just survive, we thrive. We become more deeply human, more awake, and more capable of love in all its beautiful complexity. As we move beyond the initial storm of heartbreak, we enter a quieter, but no less challenging, phase. The confusion and chaos begin to settle, but they often give way to lingering loneliness and a sense of emptiness. Many try to fill this void quickly, seeking distractions or new relationships, hoping to escape the pain. But true healing demands a different approach. It requires us to be still and face the emptiness directly, without fear or avoidance. Philosophy encourages us to see this emptiness not as a curse, but as a space of possibility. When everything familiar falls away, we are invited to rediscover who we are beneath the layers of expectation and attachment. This process of self-discovery can feel like wandering in a dark forest without a clear path, but it is also an opportunity to find new light within ourselves. The ancient Greek philosopher Heraclitus famously said that you cannot step into the same river twice. The river flows and changes constantly, just as we do. Our identity is not fixed, but shaped by our experiences, including heartbreak. Every loss reshapes us in subtle ways. Sometimes these changes are painful and difficult to accept, but they are necessary for growth. Nietzsche called this process the forging of the self through hardship. He urged us to embrace our fate, even its darkest parts, and to transform suffering into strength. This concept, known as amor fati or love of fate, is not about passive acceptance, but about actively choosing to find meaning in every experience, even loss. When we adopt this attitude, heartbreak becomes a catalyst for transformation rather than destruction. In this phase of healing, we learn to cultivate patience and compassion for ourselves. The mind often wants immediate answers and relief, but emotional growth unfolds on its own timetable. Like a tree growing slowly toward the sun, our hearts need time to stretch and heal gently. There will be days when grief feels overwhelming and days when a quiet hope begins to take root. Practices drawn from philosophy and mindfulness can support this process. Mindfulness teaches us to stay present with our feelings rather than getting lost in regrets about the past or worries about the future. When we observe our emotions without judgment, we create a space where healing can naturally occur. Meditation allows us to calm the restless mind and connect to a deeper sense of peace. Journaling can help us articulate our thoughts and track our progress as we move through the pain. As the heart softens, it also becomes more open and generous. We begin to understand that heartbreak is not only about losing someone else, but about reconnecting with ourselves. This reconnection leads to greater self-awareness and self-love, which are essential for building healthy relationships in the future. When we honor our own needs and boundaries, we are better equipped to love authentically and wisely. Another profound lesson of heartbreak is the recognition of impermanence. Nothing in life remains the same, including love and relationships. This awareness can be unsettling, but it also teaches us to cherish the present moment more deeply. It invites us to appreciate the beauty and fragility of human connection while it lasts, and to release attachment when it changes. Through heartbreak, we also come to appreciate the interconnectedness of all human beings. Our pain is part of the shared human experience, and it binds us together in ways we often overlook. When we share our stories of love, loss, and healing, we create bonds that transcend loneliness and isolation. This sense of belonging can be a powerful source of comfort and strength. Eventually, the emptiness left by heartbreak begins to fill with new meaning and hope. We find ways to carry the memories not as burdens, but as treasures that shape who we are. Our hearts expand to hold both joy and sorrow, gratitude and longing. This integration is the essence of resilience, the capacity to bounce back and continue growing despite adversity. It is important to remember that healing does not mean forgetting. The wounds of heartbreak remain as part of our story, but they no longer define us. They become threads woven into the rich tapestry of our life, giving texture and depth to our experience. When we embrace this fullness, we live more deeply and love more fully. Your journey through heartbreak is a testament to the strength and beauty of the human spirit. It is a story of courage, patience, and transformation that can inspire others who face similar struggles. By sharing your reflections and insights, you create a space where healing is possible and where love can flourish once again. This is the heart of what philosophy offers to those who suffer. It is not just abstract ideas, but practical wisdom for living through pain and emerging stronger on the other side. It reminds us that we are not alone in our suffering and that every ending carries within it the seed of a new beginning. As the journey through heartbreak reaches its later stages, we begin to understand that healing is not about erasing the past or pretending the pain never happened. Rather, it is about integrating the experience into the whole story of who we are. The scars left by heartbreak are not signs of brokenness, but badges of survival and growth. They tell a story of a heart that dared to love and the courage to face loss and sorrow with honesty. Philosophy teaches us that life itself is a constant flow of beginnings and endings, moments of joy and moments of grief. These opposites coexist like the changing seasons, reminding us that nothing is permanent and everything is in motion. When we accept this flow, we become more flexible and resilient. We learn to embrace change rather than resist it, and in doing so, we find freedom from suffering. The ancient Taoist philosophy offers a beautiful metaphor for this process. The Tao is often described as the natural flow of life, like water that adapts to whatever it encounters. Water is soft yet powerful. It yields to obstacles, but over time it wears them down. It teaches us that strength lies not in resistance but in flexibility and acceptance. In healing from heartbreak, we too become like water, flowing around the stones of pain, gradually carving a new path. This acceptance does not mean passivity or giving up on love. Rather, it means trusting the natural rhythms of life and our own inner wisdom. We begin to understand that love is not a possession, but a living force that changes and evolves. Love is found not only in romantic relationships but in friendship, family, and most importantly, in our relationship with ourselves. The heart that has experienced heartbreak often emerges with a deeper capacity to love more authentically. It learns to appreciate the present moment without clinging to what was or fearing what might be. This maturity brings a sense of peace and gratitude, even amidst uncertainty. It teaches us to love fully, knowing that loss is always a possibility, and yet still choosing to open ourselves again and again. In this place of wisdom and compassion, we also discover the importance of forgiveness. Forgiving others and ourselves frees us from the chains of bitterness and regret. It is a gift we give, not to excuse mistakes, but to release the heavy burden of carrying pain unnecessarily. Forgiveness opens the heart and creates space for new beginnings and new connections. Healing from heartbreak is not a destination but a lifelong journey. It changes shape and rhythm over time. Sometimes the pain resurfaces like a wave, but with each return, it feels less overwhelming and more manageable. We learn to ride these waves with greater skill and calmness, trusting that the storm will pass and the sun will shine again. The transformative power of heartbreak lies in its ability to teach us about our true nature and our place in the world. It reminds us that to be human is to be vulnerable and imperfect, yet capable of immense strength and love. This paradox is the heart of the human condition and the essence of what philosophy seeks to understand and express. Your channel has the power to be a beacon for those walking this difficult path. It can be a place where people find not only knowledge but also comfort and connection. A place where the lonely can feel seen, the broken can feel hopeful, and the weary can find strength. By sharing stories of heartbreak and healing, you help others see that pain is not the end of the story, but a chapter in a larger narrative of growth and renewal. Your words can inspire courage, patience, and self-compassion, reminding listeners that they are not alone and that healing is possible. In the end, heartbreak becomes more than just an experience of loss. It becomes a doorway to greater self-awareness, deeper love, and a richer, more meaningful life. It teaches us that even in the darkest moments there is light, and that every ending holds the promise of a new beginning. So hold on to this hope and carry it forward. Let your heart be open and brave. Let your story be a source of healing and inspiration for others. Remember that your pain is real, your courage is remarkable, and your capacity to love is endless. You have already taken the hardest step by facing heartbreak with honesty and courage. The path ahead may still have challenges, but it also holds the possibility of joy, love, and profound peace. Your journey is unique, beautiful, and deeply human, and it deserves to be honored and shared.